got baby face, me big boss man. Me like America, me got good plan. Mexico water make Gulf US survey. Me make Zelensky say thanks to my face. Me got baby face, me got big chair. Trump bad, Trump good, me no care. Me write big book, kill billies and stuff. Now me important, we're tired tough. Me go Yale school, me learn big word. Now me forget everything me heard. Silicon people give me job, me take. Now me like Trump, me make no mistake. Yo, it's JP Advance. Me fight walk folk, me say never die. Me protect kids, me born liberal. Him, them, there. America simple, only two gender. Me face, me big boss man. Me like America, me got good plan. Mexico water make Gulf US of A. Me make Zelensky say thanks to my face. Too many gender for my agenda. Went on a bender, execo the sender. Might take Panama just like na. Might take Gaza, pop then a plaza. We this my majesty.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome into Cobra Cast 199. I am your host, Jeremy Prime, Mage IDOT of Unit 199. Happy to see all of you here. And yes, I am actually in studio tonight. That's not a green screen behind me. That's the real thing. We are really here tonight. We are in Studio 199. I told you it still exists. It still exists, okay? It's still here. So we are here. No green screen tonight. The real thing. But it's green. I mean, we could change it. Go blue. Okay. Or red. Want red? Red background? You like that? Go with red. I'm okay with that. But either way, good to see all of you here. We have the national championship game going on right now. And right now it is 10-7, Indiana over Miami. Miami just punted. I don't care who wins this game. I truly don't. I don't care. I don't really hate or like either team. A part of me doesn't want Indiana to win because I'm a little jealous that their coach is being treated like the new Nick Saban, and I don't like that. But you know, it is what it is. I don't know. I don't care. I really don't care. Who wins? Doesn't matter to me. But good to see all of you here. Also, I finally got my fucking Cobra Cast blue hoodie in. We're gonna put these on sale through Rip-A-Sin very soon. This shit looks good. Okay, this looks real fuck. He's better than Nick Saban, bro. He wouldn't exist without Nick Saban, okay? None of these coaches would exist without Nick fucking Saban. That's the bottom line. So anyway, we'll see what happens. But we have a lot to talk about with the Don Lemon story. We got Don Lemon. It's true, Gator. It's true. All of these guys are from the Nick Saban coaching school. All of them. All right. That's just how it is. Optics Prime with a gifted membership. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. I'm trying to pay attention to the game too. But yeah, this whole Don Lemon story has blown up. Jared the American says, react to your video from 10 years ago calling out Simon Pegg and prequel haters. Holy shit. I forgot I made that. Calling out Simon Pegg and prequel haters. It's watching images seconds before disaster. Hail Cobra. Yeah, man. Wow. That was a long time ago. I stand by what I said, though. Fuck Simon Pegg and the prequel haters. Yeah, man. That's a long time ago, though. Beardo's girl for Tuesday night's main event. Yikes. Golden Nugget says, stop showing hot women on your stream. It's lame. Hot Dice says, remember the Darth Brandon red background speech? What a timeline. I do remember that. I absolutely remember that. Keenan says, Taylor Sheridan Sundays are over for now. I look forward to the next time. I'm not going to get into details, but Landman season 2 finale was an amazing episode. The best episode of Landman to date. Taylor Sheridan landed the ending. I mean, I loved season 2. So yeah, man. But the season finale was freaking awesome. I mean, what a episode. The best episode of the entire series to date. And I highly recommend it if you haven't. Taylor Sheridan's got another series starting. When is that next series starting? He's got another series starting in March, I think. I think Kurt Russell's in that one. I mean, listen, okay. You guys, I saw this. Let me see if I can find it. I know I bookmarked it. I'm not the only one that bookmarked it, by the way. Taylor Sheridan understands. By the way, thank you, Bill Hurd, for that 50. I'll get to that one in just a minute. Taylor Sheridan understands what it takes to make great television. And it's not just the dialogue. It's not just the characters. It's not just the action. It's not all of that. It's the little details that matter. Okay. The little details. And you may be asking, what little details, Jeremy, are you talking about? Well, let me show you what details. These details right here. This is from the finale, right here. So this is a really good scene. Great scene, really well edited, really well done. I appreciate the cinematography in this image right here. I mean, maybe the best cinematography. I can't even fucking talk after looking at that. But anyway, Landman, watch it, okay? Watch it. It's got a lot of hot women in it, all right? A lot of hot women. Culture Class says, okay, I'm a fan for life. The plot is incredible. You guys keep telling me to watch The Mayor of Kingstown. I'll be honest, so I started it. I don't want to give any specifics. But for the people that have watched it, I watched the first episode a long time ago. And something happens in the first episode, and I'm like, I wasn't expecting that. And so I just haven't gone back. But everybody says that it's really, really good. So I'm going to have to start Mayor of Kingstown. Bill Herb, 450, says, Don Lemon facing charges is hilarious, and apparently it's KKK charges. Even funnier. Hope things go smoothly for y'all over there. I don't get how anyone would defend illegal immigration. Meanwhile, here in Australia, they're banning speech. R.I.P. I hear you, brother. Dude, it's crazy. These people are they're absolutely nuts. They're absolutely nuts. And but I appreciate it. I know you guys have your own problems over there in Australia. Some people say Australia is not a real place. I disagree. All right. But some people say it's not. But thank you, Bill. I appreciate it. And you also dropped 5 gifted memberships. Jason says, take a breathe, brother. You mean breather? What do you mean? What are you talking about? For the 199, hail to you, brother. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you, Keenan. At says Jer Binks tax. Jim P says need hot women images due to freezing temps. I agree completely, and it works. It always does work. But let's jump into the Don Lemon story, and I'm going to give everybody a little bit of backstory on what happened, and then I will give you the what happened into. So this is footage from Sky News Australia. And this is Don Lemon joins anti-ICE mob disgracefully storming a Minneapolis church during Sunday service. This is who he is, and the story has gotten significantly worse for him. So here we go.
Renee good! Renee good! Renee good! Renee good!
Department of Justice Civil Rights Division is investigating anti-immigration and customs enforcement protesters for storming a church service. Storming a church service. I was discussing this as mouse potato. I think everybody was. I mean, again, this is not a situation that's going to convince anybody in the middle that you are on the right side of this. If you're storming a church and you are making people at a church service feel scared, if you're having little kids feeling uneasy and scared, you're not the good guy in that situation. You're just not.
This is the beginning of what's going to happen here. When you violate people's due process, when you pull people off the street, you start dragging them and hurting them and not abiding by the Constitution, when you start doing all of that, people get upset and angry.
It's insane, dude. Yeah, I just saw that Indiana blocked a punt for a touchdown. Holy crap.
What do you think of this?
I mean, this is unacceptable. It's shameful. It's shameful to interrupt a public gathering of Christians in worship.
But there were folks who will say,
I have to take care of my flock.
okay, but listen, we live in there's a Constitution in the First Amendment.
I mean, it is private property, you stupid idiot. It's private property. You can't just go into private property and do that.
To freedom of speech and freedom to assemble and protest.
We're here to worship. We're here to worship Jesus because that's the hope of these cities. That's the hope of the world is Jesus Christ.
How can anybody be that dumb? It's not that he's dumb. It's that he just truly doesn't care. He's this horrible of a human being. That's what this comes down to. He is just a horrible human being. Again, this is the guy that got on CNN and told everyone that we had to have a mask mandate and a jab mandate, and then him and his white boyfriend were hanging out in Florida with no mask. Now, we get to this point right here, and this is where it gets interesting. Our boy Benny Johnson has a clip that we're going to react to really quickly in reference to this. So here we go right here. Here we go.
Charges in this case. We will pursue charges in this case. I see various crimes that have occurred. Exactly what they are, I'm not going to flag, but the FACE Act has been mentioned as one of the predicates there. In other cases, the Biden DOJ used the Klan Act conspiracy charges tacked on to the FACE Act in the case of protests outside abortion clinics to bring much longer sentences. So there are a number of tools available to us. Who funded this? What else? What other crimes may have occurred? Was there a use of the wires or the mails in preparing for this event? Did anyone cross state lines to do this. All of those are potential predicates for additional federal charges.
I mean, I've just pulled up the Klan Act because this is the first time
The
that I've
Klan
heard
Act.
this mentioned. This is a act that was passed in 1871, correction there, to combat the Ku Klux Klan and protect African Americans' voting rights, especially the Enforcement Act, which is known as the Force Act.
The beautiful irony of this is if they can use this to arrest Don Lemon, my goodness, dude.
So here's some of the information on screen. Would you mind breaking down for us, because we have just read the FACE Act and how this is an affinity to the FACE Act, an obvious and egregious demonstrable violation of the FACE Act because they were entering a place of worship, harassing and threatening. We just played a video of a man, a bearded man, who was threatening to attack the Christians that were worshiping there. So it seems like an obvious FACE Act violation. But the Klan Act here, it is on screen. First time I've heard it mentioned. Can you unpack this for us, Harmeet?
Yeah, the Klan Act is one of the most important federal civil rights statutes, and it goes back to the time when President Lincoln emancipated the slaves, and yet the southern states, Dixiecrats mainly, were refusing to give them equal rights. And in fact, that you had sheriffs and you had law enforcement harassing the newly freed slaves. So the Klan Act is a law that makes it illegal to terrorize citizens, to violate their civil rights, to get together and conspire to violate the civil rights. It is often used against law enforcement, but is now used against others as well. So whenever anyone conspires to violate the protected civil rights of American citizens, the Klan Act can be used to bring a conspiracy charge. We, in the federal law enforcement parlance, call this 241 and 242. Civil and criminal conspiracies. And so what the Biden administration did is, if three grandmas got together to pray outside an abortion clinic for the souls of the people inside, and including unborn children, they would say, oh, that's not just a violation of the Klan Act, that's a conspiracy to violate the civil rights of women going in there to get abortions. And so we're going to add additional charges and punish that more and make it from a misdemeanor under the FACE Act to a felony under the Klan Act. And
yeah, who was it? Justin, I literally forgot it was MLK Day. I did too. I usually I don't even think about MLK unless there's some type of violence, because usually there's only violence on Martin Luther King Boulevard. That's usually the only thing I think of when I oh, MLK, violence on the boulevard that was named after him, because that's literally all that ever happens.
President Trump pardoned the pro-life protesters in those cases. I have recently defended successfully in the 11th Circuit a case called Oropesa, a case of Jane's Revenge, the pro-abortion protesters violently attacking crisis pregnancy centers in Florida. And we had the court uphold the Klan Act criminal enhancement to the FACE Act. So I know this is very deep in the weeds, but the point is there are a number of things. The FACE Act is just the start. Like I said, you have material support for disruptive activities. You have conspiracy to violate civil rights. You have potentially the use of other instrumentalities to commit crimes. And so
the nothing ever happens panicans are invading the chat. I mean, that's fine. I mean, I understand where they're coming from. It's kind of like, their sex life. Nothing ever happens because unless there's another dude involved. But other than that, they've never seen a woman. They've never touched a woman. And so when it's really projection from them where they're like, nothing ever happens. It's talking about the fact that they've never seen a woman in their life that they could actually have sex with. So I get it.
Some of these folks who did this have self-identified. Don Lemon himself has come out and said he knew exactly what was going to happen inside that facility. He went into the facility and then he began, quote unquote, committing journalism. And as if that's sort of a shield from being an embedded part of a criminal conspiracy. It isn't. And so, we're getting our ducks in a row. We're putting the facts together. And this is a very serious matter. Come next Sunday, nobody should think in the United States that they're going to be able to get away with this. Everyone in the protest community needs to know that the fullest force of the federal government is going to come down and prevent this from happening and put people away for a long, long time.
Well, let's hope that something does happen with this situation, because we don't want another Ted Cruz getting up there and, basically screaming into the microphone about how passionate he is about this thing. And then, then Ted Cruz starts talking about the next thing. Hunter says Christ is king. Beckinator Place says Taylor Sheridan should teach Hollywood how to put politics in shows because that's how you do it. You make it part of the story and not the whole story. Love the finale. Honestly, yeah. I mean, I will say that. So I was slightly critical of the introduction to the pronoun freak in the episode before the finale because I felt that it was distracting. I actually like how they tied it up into the story in the finale. It worked perfectly, and this is exactly how it should have been done. So now that I look back on that, I'm like, it's not as a random out of the left field now. So Landman's fucking phenomenal though. Billy Bob Thornton just crushes it, man. He is so good in this role as Tommy. He is just so good. So Landman is an amazing show. Basha says he went on a podcast and said, let's see, what is it? Parishioners are white supremacists. The state DA is in on it too. Well, I've got clips of him on podcast going off on Trump and everything like that. The Lego Batman Goon says, was it even confirmed that the pastor is affiliated with ICE? So the rumor is that that they went after this pastor because he was affiliated with ICE. Who fucking cares if he was affiliated with ICE? That doesn't give you the right to go in there. If you have a problem with him, then you should take it up with him. You know what I mean? Like, I don't... That doesn't give you the right to go in there and disrupt service. By the way, if he's affiliated with ICE, badass pastor. Makes him a lot cooler in my mind, but it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant if he was or if he wasn't. But no, I don't know if it was... confirmed or not. It doesn't matter much. It's still a horrible thing to do. But if it turns out the pastor isn't even involved with ICE, it makes it worse. Good point. Very good point. Very good point. John freaking Murdoch for 50 says Trump and the DOJ need to go after these protesters with the same vigor as that Biden DOJ went after the J6ers. If not, then Trump administration might lose Congress. Yes and no. I think that it's weird because I'm looking at this right now and I'm going, you back up to, let's go 3 days ago. Okay. 3 days back. And let's just say hypothetically, Trump invokes the Insurrection Act. Okay. And then it gets cleaned up. I think that Don Lemon leading a protest into a church service and showing children scared to death, the optics of that are so damaging for the Democrats, dude. So damaging. That doing that is more damaging than any act that Trump could have, enacted. Anything. By the way, touchdown Miami, 17-13, pending the extra point. So, again, man, it goes back to, and again, I have said I think Trump should invoke the Insurrection Act out of it. And I also said Trump knows more than me, so who gives a damn what I say? And he knows what he's doing. Never interrupt your enemy when they are making a mistake. That is always a good policy. But it is frustrating. And I do understand where people are coming from on it, but everybody's upset. Like, there's nobody that is not a far left lunatic can take the side of Don Lemon at this point without looking horrible. I mean, it's just a bad look. Little Jim Sales says the white guy with the beard being exposed too. Yep, I got videos of him as well. So let's jump over here to, well, first of all, TMZ posted this, hang on, before we do this, I got to find it. It's been crazy to watch all of this play out and how the media is trying to handle it. So it is 17-14. This game is getting damn good right now. The business is picking up, ladies and gentlemen, in the college football game. By the way, Trump is there. Marco Rubio's there. And Trump got a massive ovation when they showed him. Of course, that pissed off a lot of the left wingers out there, which, of course, it did. But funny enough, Nicki Minaj has decided to go after Don Lemon today. Nicki Minaj, that's right. Nicki Minaj posted this. Don cock-sucking lemon is disgusting. How dare you? I want that thug in jail. He would never do that to any other religion. Lock him up. She's got that right there. Let's go. Now, TMZ posted this. Nicki Minaj calls Don Lemon a homophobic slur after church incident in Minnesota. That's what TMZ is focusing on. Adam Carolla said, he sucks cock. It's factual. How is that a slur? How is that what you're focused on, TMZ? Not the fact that these terrorists stormed a church. Adam Carolla, let's freaking go. So I responded right here. Where's mine? Did they hide my reply? There's no way. Where's my reply? Did they hide my reply? I know I ratioed them. Okay, let me see where my reply is. I got to find this now. Unless it was on a different post, maybe? Okay, different post. Right here. So this post right here. Nicki Minaj is so pissed at Don Lemon that she used a homophobic slur after the former CNN anchor turned independent journalist disrupted a Minnesota church service. So I just responded with that and ratioed the hell out of them, by the way. Because this is the word that we all wanted to say. And this is the word that she should have said. So yeah, I mean, but this is TMZ right here. This is what they're focused on. They're focused on a word that she said. Well, first of all, a word she didn't even say. She didn't even say the thing that they claim she said. By the way, it would have been fine if she did. But either way, this situation has reached a crazy level. So here is Don Lemon just doubled down and trashed the congregation he attempted to incite a riot against.
And there's a certain degree of entitlement. I think people who are, in the religious groups like that, it's not the type of Christianity that I practice, but I think that they're entitled, and that entitlement comes from a supremacy, a white supremacy.
I'm not here, like, I don't make it my business to judge people on their religion, because it's just not it's not an argument that I am interested in having. However, Don Lemon is not a Christian in any way, shape, or form. Zero. Like, it's not even, like, what are we talking about?
And they think that this country was built for them, that it is a Christian country, when actually we left England because we wanted religious freedom. It's religious freedom, but only if you're a Christian and only if you're a white male, pretty much. And so, yeah, I absolutely 100%, but it's an intimidation tactic. And, I said, I don't understand how I've become the face of it when I was a journalist. I do understand that I'm the biggest name there. And I'm also, as I was on with my producers this morning, you and Kylie talk all the time. My producers were saying, I said, how did I become the face of this? And my producer said, Don, you're a gay black man in America.
Activated his victim card. Victim card activated. Victim card activated as per usual every single time. President Trump just posted that Don Lemon and the leftist rioters should get years in prison for storming the Minneapolis church. I think everybody would agree with that 100%. Minnesota church attendee says Don Lemon was unprofessional and was absolutely part of the mob that stormed the church.
There is the clip of him talking about looking at the young people who are exiting the sanctuary and saying how they're traumatized, they're disturbed, and that's what's necessary in a protest like this. And I think that's just disgusting. I think that we as Christians are never promised peace or comfortability in this life. We know that people will be against us, but that does not mean that we shouldn't call people out when they do something like that or when they say something like that against us. And I think that that is just a terrible thing to say about anyone, that they should be traumatized for the sake of a political agenda. So I am not on board with what he was doing there. I don't think he should have been there. I don't think he had the right to be there. He was part of the group that disrupted our worship service, even if he was just documenting it. Frankly, I don't really care if he was there to just document or if he was there to protest. He was there and he was part of what disrupted our worship service. And so I don't think he should have been there. I don't think he should have said the things that he said. I don't think that it was the right time to interview a pastor in the midst of a protest, in the midst of his flock being attacked by wolves. And I just think that he handled it very unprofessionally.
Very well said. Very well spoken. Going back to this, I saw some people say, well, then do it, Trump. Trump, like, I'm not going to pretend that I understand all of the details here. Donald Trump cannot just arrest someone. He doesn't have that power. He can't just go, I'm going to go arrest someone. He doesn't, that's not how it works. He doesn't have the ability to do that. He obviously has the ability to have his DOJ look into things. But a lot of people just, they look at this, and this is why Trump posts stuff like this to put public pressure on his DOJ to go do things. So like he's doing this, and he's basically signaling to Pam Bondi, you need to get this shit done. You need to make sure that this gets done. Now, that doesn't mean it will, and I don't have a lot of faith in Pam Bondi, and I think Trump should look in another direction for someone else. I don't think Pam Bondi's been good. I think she's been a disaster all across the board. But that's another discussion for another time. Now, right here, Don Lemon responds after being put on notice by Trump DOJ.
To me, it feels like an attack on the First Amendment and trying to, and this is just my assessment, you don't have to agree with this, Mr. Attorney General, but trying to tie me as a journalist, to turn me into an activist, and I'm not. I was not there in activism at all. I was there just simply.
Oh my God, what a lying fucking piece of shit. Anyway, let's just let him talk.
Assessment. You don't have to agree with this, Mr. Attorney General, but trying to tie me as a journalist, to turn me into an activist, and I'm not. I was not there in activism at all. I was there just simply chronicling what they were doing, which is what journalists do all the time.
It's incredible, man. The arrogance of him to just sit there and lie, to just point blank lie about this. Holy crap. Good Lord. Dave Moore says, remember when he melted down on CNN over a Trump Thanos meme? I do remember that. I do remember that clip. I don't have that clip, but I remember that one. Oh, maybe I could find that one. That's actually funny. I forgot about it, but now let's see. Don Lemon Trump meme. Oh, is this it? Is this it?
What are we in junior high school? Like, what are we in junior high school? Like, what the hell? What is this? Like, what? What? I cannot believe that I'm even having to report this on the news.
This is literally what I voted for.
This is crazy. This is literally Crazy. Are you people insane? Are you insane? Go ahead. Troll the Democrats on Twitter. Do this stupid, silly, you know what? Play this stupid, juvenile meme game. History won't record this meme, stupid crap.
I am inevitable.
On this solemn day, I recall that
Yes.
the first order of business for members of
Go ahead. Troll the Democrats on Twitter. Do this stupid, silly, you know what? Play this stupid, juvenile meme game. None of it's true. Me. I'm the victim. I'm the victim.
He can't stop. This is proven again and again and again and again. He can't stop himself. He is a train wreck going 1,000 miles an hour. It is about the Republicans around him now. The story is about you.
You're a Democrat. Mika, you're a Democrat. Let me say this. Let me say this, okay? Because it means nothing coming from you.
Tears. No, tell me this isn't true.
I'm just saying. But he's a victim. Never taking responsibility.
By the way, I have to show you what Mika Brzezinski thought of Donald Trump before she was told she can't like Donald Trump. This is how she treated Don before the Don. This is how she treated the Don before.
The low rider is a little higher.
Did you get a lot of sleep last night?
Well, I got woken up, but
By what?
well, you know, Donald wanted me to see the CPAC speech.
Bro, she is all about the Don. She's all about the Don.
Skeptical, but I pulled it up on the internet.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Pretty good.
It's pretty good. Joining us on the phone right now, Donald Trump. Good morning, Donald.
Mika, what do you mean pretty good? You know you loved it.
And Joe Scarborough is being cucked. He's cucking Joe Scarborough on national TV. He's cucking the man.
Mika, what do you mean pretty good? You know you loved it.
Wow. Trump, you're naughty. So, like, who would you pay more here, Donald? Just curious.
With you and Joe, I'd absolutely pay you more.
Oh, my God.
All right.
I would pay you much more. Joe, I would pay Mika so much more your head would spin.
Donald, do you have a TV? Are you watching us right now?
Yes, I am.
Okay,
I always watch you, only because of you.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
So, wow.
The Don. The Don.
Never apologizing.
You have to fact check them. We're fact checkers in real time dealing with this president because he tells falsehoods and lies so much. And, you know, it's unfortunate the position that we're all in right now.
Sorry, that does it for us tonight. We'll see you again tomorrow. Now it is time for the last word.
But record numbers of Americans cannot stand this president. They live in daily outrage and fear about what he is doing to us as a country.
Bashes us, says nothing about himself. They chant CNN sucks. He says nothing.
The daily kind of fake talk from President Trump is poisonous because it has this trickle-down effect that causes an erosion of credibility in the minds of some voters. I don't think CNN is, or any other channel right now is anti-Trump. What we are seeing are journalists trying to stand up for truth and decency.
And the man in the White House is behaving.
Truth and decency. Zwanny 450 says, Jeremy, I thought we were all paying you enough to not resort to 70s adult films. Step up your grifting fearless leader, stash tax. Thank you. Hail to you, Zwanny. I appreciate it. You know, everything's just more expensive these days. I don't know what to tell you, but thank you. I appreciate it. I'll do better. Do better, Senator. Do better. This is a great meltdown right here, by the way.
Behaving now like a character on that old detective show, Columbo. He's acting like one of the bad guys. You remember them. They are always rich, high-ranking in society, suave and charming of manner, never giving off a whiff of guilt.
Okay, the crying is getting a little, a little annoying. Let's see here. Let's go to this right here. Don Lemon says, you know what, Trump, F you. Just F all the way off. All right? So,
you know what, Donald Trump, fuck you. Just fuck all the way off. What an asshole and a small-minded, small dick shit to do. Like, you have no couth. You are an immature child. You are a bigot, a fucking racist, and a small penis asshole. Yeah, I said that. Just hateful and delusional. And you have the nerve to be upset because people were critical of Charlie Kirk's, what he said before he died, how he talked about black people and women and all, and you have the nerve to be all up in arms about that. Just fuck all the way off. That just shows me that you were just grifting off of Charlie Kirk's death. That you don't give a shit about respecting someone when they die. You don't care. You care about yourself. And you are preaching and promoting hate. It's just vile.
But going into a church and making children uncomfortable and stopping the service, that's okay by Don Lemon standards.
It makes me sick that you are president of the United States. It's embarrassing. You are an embarrassment to this country. It's just gross. I don't even know how else. I mean, it's just, I hate to even say it. Like, I hate to even say your name. I don't even like to hear your voice. It's so gross. It sounds like you're vomiting when you talk. Everything is like that.
I love how much they hate him. This is what fuels the majority of MAGA. The more you guys cry about Trump, the more we support Trump. The more it upsets you, the more we support. Simple as that.
And you wonder where all the hate comes from in this country? It comes from you. You are the promoter of hate in this country. The example of it. And you expect people to respect you when you have no respect for other people and zero respect for the office that you hold. And so I'm giving you the same energy that you give others. That's how I feel about it. Fuck you, piece of shit. Rob Reiner can't say it. I'm going to say it for him.
Well, Rob Reiner said it plenty enough when he was here. That's pretty much all we knew Rob Reiner for. Towards the end of his, life was him crying about Trump. Even though he made some amazing films back in the day. I love Rob Reiner, some of his movies. Some of his movies are incredible. But unfortunately, all that we know him for is his TDS at this point. That's what an entire generation knows him for. Alec Baldwin's finger with the raid. Hail Alec Baldwin's finger. ABF in the house. Thank you, ABF. Good to see you, brother. ABF's been crushing it. So ABF raid. I see all the raiders in the chat. Let's freaking go. Who the F is Alec Baldwin's finger? We need to ask that question. We have not asked that question in a long time.
Who the fuck is Alec Baldwin's finger?
It's an interesting question. Lying Dog Face Pony Soldier with the Get to Membership. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, Don Lemon is he is completely unhinged, and I am here for it. Minnesota AG Keith Ellison just joined Don Lemon's live stream. He has no problem with the church storming protest. Let me let you hear it straight from the Minnesota Attorney General. So again, I bring up the fact that we always have to bring up the unfortunate reality of this is that it's a Democrat-run state. It's just, that's the sad reality of it. It's a Democrat-run state, dude.
General, I know you know what's going on. I'm sure you've heard of what's going on. What do you think of this and what happened at the church and all that?
Well, let me tell you, I think that, the protest is fundamental to American society. This country started in a protest, and, it's freedom of expression. People have a right to lift up their voices and make their peace. And none of us are immune from the voice of the public. So quite honestly, I think that you got the First Amendment, freedom of religion, and the First Amendment, freedom of expression. And I think that, it's just something you got to live with in a society like this.
General.
Unbelievable. But again, I'm going to have to keep reminding people of this. If we shut this down, if Trump shuts this down with the Insurrection Act, we don't see the problem. We're not exposed to the problem. Getting to see this problem on full display is important. It's not important for MAGA. It's not important for me. It's not important for you. It's important to the people in the middle that will determine the future of this country, unfortunately. Because that's who will determine the midterms. The people in the middle, terrifyingly enough. And they have to be convinced, they have to be shown this evil for what it is. Greg Gutfeld had some words about it.
How you got here, and you won't admit that is the reason why we're this isn't about immigration. It isn't about ICE. It isn't about Trump. It is about suicidal empathy that is driven by a rescue fantasy. You have all of these young middle-aged women going out there because they have some kind of emptiness in their lives that are going out there in this kind of rescue delusion, helping people they don't know, strangers who are guilty of crimes. How can you defend that? This is not protesters going to a church. That is a mob. The people that invented the phrase safe spaces are breaking it up, frightening kids, right? These are the people that call us fascists and they're hunting people. These are the people that claim to defend women and yet are defending men who abuse women. These are the people that call us homophobic and yet they want to out ICE guys for using, I don't know, gay sex apps. Let's be honest here. Fry's a pussy. He's scared of these.
To be fair, they should be outed for using those apps.
People, or else he would stand up for it. Calling it love, there's no such thing as a mob with love. And imagine showing this tape to Don Lemon 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and saying, is this where you saw yourself, Lemon? Crashing a church service, scaring kids, attacking a pastor? Was this your hope and dream to do this? Radicalization is gradual. Black Lives Matter is now bad guys matter. And now you'll defend anything. You're defending rapists. These are the people you're defending.
On what
and I'm going to go back. No. You had your chance. You brought this up. Where are the police? You know, when you have Hamas supporters and Jewish students, police make the separation. Antifa, Proud Boys, police make the separation. Pro-life and feminists, police make the separation. Somehow that separation is not even here, even when the leaders are framing this as protesters versus persecutors, because that's part of this fantasy world that you live in, and yet they decide that they don't need cops. to separate it. The ICE agents aren't supposed to deal with that.
Touchdown,
That's what
Miami.
the police do. So you got to ask yourself, why aren't the police there? Because it's a deliberate thing to create this spectacle. And then I'll finish. This is not an isolated thing. These rescue fantasies exist because the real power of women, which is in the roles of community, whether it's wife, mother, work, teaching, that stuff has been marginalized by our modern leftist culture that has to be replaced by activism. Your life is meaningless unless you're out there screaming in a cop's face. You have all these sad people out there in this liberation role playing, and you're egging it on. You should not be egging this on, Jessica. You know, we had this. This is a time for brave women.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, they don't care if brave women are willing to stand up and expose them. It's just like whenever, black people that don't line up with the leftist narrative start speaking up, the left dismisses them. The left just dismisses them completely. It happens all the time. It's been happening for the last 10 years. A black person, a non-white dude has an opinion that's pro-Trump or pro-MAGA or pro-conservative, and they just dismiss them completely. They don't acknowledge them. And so it's, there's ultimately the world needs to see these people for who they are, and they are right now. Zinni Biscuit says, today we should celebrate someone who changed lives, Dolly Parton. Happy 80th birthday to the Queen of the South. Could have put Dollywood anywhere, but she put it in her hometown. Is it Dolly Parton's 80th birthday? Happy birthday to the legend, Dolly Parton. 80th birthday. Holy crap. Colonel Flom says, Jeremy, love you, but this is a potential inflection point for Trump, in my opinion. He can't keep deferring to libs' actions being just bad optics and hope it impacts them at the polls, not act. Just my 2 cents. No, I mean, dude, I hear you on that, and I understand that there's a different perspective on that, and I'm not telling you you're wrong to have it, but the more I look at the situation for what it is, I mean, like, okay, like right now in the state of Florida, every time something happens in the state of Florida, something positive, are the people that blame Trump for everything that happens in blue states, do they give credit to Trump? Like, Trump, great job in Florida. Trump, great job in Texas. Great job. No, they're like, yeah, man, DeSantis, or whatever the governor is in whatever respective red state. Nobody says like, great job, Trump, because Trump's not doing it. It's the leadership. It's the red state leadership that's doing the job. And it's the blue state leadership that's doing the jobs in the blue states. That's why you see such a drastic difference. So, I mean, I understand it, though. I know. I get where you're coming from, too, because, just because you've got to show some force by getting involved in this stuff. But I think that by continuing to expose these people through sunlight, I think that's the best. But I hear where you're coming from. I also saw you just became a member. I appreciate it, brother. Thank you. Dolly Parton is 80. I guess so. That's what the super chat said by Zinni Biscuit. Magatron 199 says, when I saw Don Lemon lead that mob into church, I was reacting like I was Jim Ross. He's got to rot in hell for this. Damn him. Damn his soul. Good old JR. Marmellin says, Mofo sounds like a kid with how he is trying to insult Donald J. Trump. Seriously, this is beyond childish. I've been meaner to my best friends. 1000%. Pliskin McReady says, I wasn't a hateful person, but I learned how to hate by watching what the leftists say and do. Your boos mean nothing. We've seen what makes you cheer. Absolutely. 100%. Agreed completely. Blackguard for 20 says, Don Lemon embedded himself with a possible Terry group and enter and disrupt a church service and then adopt the same message as that group when questioning the churchgoers, then act surprised when you get called a Terry too. And I know what you mean by Terry. You probably couldn't type terrorist. Yeah, he's your typical victim card. activation right there. Let's see. Chris says, OMG, Don Lemon accusing Donald Trump of being a bigot and a rapist, and he's going to go pound me, and he's going to go to pound me in the ass for violating the KKK Act. I can't believe I'm alive for this timeline. It's pretty damn hilarious. It really is. 8 o'clock says, this is an awakening. This is awakening my ancient Catholic spirit. If you know, you know. Thank you, 8 o'clock. Okay, now I've got this right here. And I do want to move on from the Don Lemon bullshit here in just a minute, because there's a lot more to talk about than just Don Lemon. But there's just so many things that are popping up. As a matter of fact, you remember this guy right here? One of the commie terrorists who stormed the Minneapolis St. Paul Church yesterday and harassed Christians during the worship appears increasingly erratic, seems ready to die, and claims to be a combat vet. This guy is definitely unhinged. This dude is next level unhinged. If you've seen, so yesterday we saw his video, and he was very, very kind of like out there. Okay. And he has now responded multiple times to yesterday's actions and a lot of the response that he's been getting online. Let me see if I can find the first one before we play this one right here, because there isn't a, here we go. So right here, anti-ICE psycho who intimidated and harassed churchgoers in Minneapolis says, come get me, Pam Bondi. Here we go.
Yesterday, I went into a church with Nakima Armstrong and I protested these white supremacists. A pastor of the church is a fucking ICE leader in the city. How can you be a fucking pastor and be a fucking ICE agent? Fuck them. They want to come after me? Fuck them. How can they live so comfortably while the fucking people from Somalia that are in this country legally, that have fucking citizenship, can't even go to their mosque and pray? How do they deserve any fucking different? Fuck those fucking Nazis. Come and get me, Pam Bondi, you fucking traitorous bitch. All power to the people.
Seems like a really level-headed guy. So here's another one from him.
You think your little death threats are going to intimidate me? You know how many fucking times I should have been dead? I'm a fucking combat infantry veteran. I'm lucky I fucking made it home. My life has been hard. You can't scare me. You can't fucking intimidate me. And even if you do come for me, and even if you do fucking kill me, as Fred Hampton said, you can kill the revolutionary, but not the revolution. All power to the people. I will not be intimidated by you fucking Nazis.
By the way, the people voted, buddy. The people voted. Donald J. Trump won in the landslide.
Fuck you.
Yeah, I don't know if does someone want to inform him that the people did vote and Donald J. Trump won the election in a landslide. Can we also inform this individual that Trump's #1 policy that he was elected on was immigration? I don't know if he's aware of that. I love how he says power to the people, and then he doesn't want to hear what the people actually voted for. He doesn't want to accept what the people actually voted for. People are crazy, man. Holy crap, what a catch by Indiana. I'm trying to keep up with this game right now. It's in the fourth quarter, 3-point game. Trump is there. By the way, let me show you the image of our very popular, very, very loved 47th president of the United States of America. When they showed him at the game today, this was the response right here. Here we go.
At the twilight's last gleam, whose brush
let's go.
Stars we hail at the twilight.
There's Trump in the house. The people loved it when they showed the Don, the GOAT. Marco Rubio is also there. Marco Rubio is very, very excited, hoping that Miami wins. I guess if I'm like, Miami's my least favorite Florida team. But I guess I'll have to pull for a Florida team, even though I don't like Miami. Indiana's clearly the better team, but I guess I'm pulling for Miami in these late. Indiana's got the ball and they're driving, so it ain't looking too good for them. Right here, the optics of going into a place of worship are not necessarily great. Does it frustrate you that it happened this way? This is the Minnesota Attorney General.
But obviously the optics of going into a place of worship are not necessarily great. Does it frustrate you that it happened this way?
Look, here's what frustrates me. Over 3,000 ICE agents escalating into our state, a threatened 1,500 active duty military soldiers. That's what frustrates me. This situation is 100% because of Operation Metro Surge. This escalation, unjustified, irrational, inconstitutional, is why this is happening. I urge all people to obey the law, to try to do everything they can to not be provoked. But the reality, he's trying to provoke us. And, you know, I wasn't there. I don't know what happened. I can only tell you that the president is causing all of this.
But obviously the optics of going.
So it's Trump's fault. So just say it. Just say it's Trump's fault. Right here, I think this is that guy that we were just watching, the unhinged guy. I think this is him in this video clip.
The pastors tried to engage in conversation.
That looks like him.
That wasn't going to take place.
So you're just walking into a church, getting into people's face. And you think you're the good guy? You think that makes you the good guy? Here is Nick Sortor, says Americans that need to take back cities from third worlders and end the no-gun zones after Somali stole his $1,000 camera.
They told me that I was the person that needed to leave, that I needed to get out of this area. I'm an American citizen, born and bred here, that is being told that I'm not allowed to be in an American city. And if that's not alarming to people, I don't know what could possibly be. I mean, the fact that
And like I've said many times, this is truly a disease in the United States of America. Okay? What happens? This is simple common sense. When you have a disease, what do you do about it? Do you just go, wow, it's got a disease, but I'm not going to worry about it. It'll go away. No, you get rid of the disease. Because if you don't get rid of the disease will spread. So you want to try and minimize it before it spreads. Cut the disease out of the country.
Oh, the thing that I did that they didn't like was that I was there with a camera. I didn't get out of my vehicle. I was recording from inside the vehicle when I ended up getting robbed. But according to the police out there, you know, a felony robbery is not enough for them to go after the perpetrator. I'm the one that had to end up leaving the area. And that's a quote. They said, you need to leave. It's crazy to me that this is the point that we're at. We're on our own out here, and we have to take our cities back. We cannot allow no-go zones to be set up.
Disinfected Science says, Jeremy, you and I both hate doctors. Come on now. I mean, I do hate doctors, but I mean, just recently I had melanoma spots on me that I had to have cut out. That's the second time in my life that I've had melanoma concerns, and I had them removed completely because you can't leave the disease there or it will spread. So, you know, but I don't like the doctor either. I fucking hate going to the doctor.
Up in otherwise, you know, beautiful states like this. And Tim Walz and Mayor Fry are willing to do it just to buy political points from the Somalis. I'm sitting there in the street. They come up to my car and tell me, you have to leave, you have to leave. Security guards for the building coming into the street, blocking my vehicle and telling me that it's illegal for me to film on a street. And the police end up siding with them. So thankfully, the FBI stepped in because we all know that Minneapolis PD and Mayor Fry aren't going to do anything to solve this robbery case. So I personally spoke with FBI Director Kash Patel shortly before coming on to do this hit.
That's the thing is like, I mean, again, I have to, I'm calling myself out as much as I'm asking anyone else that's saying it, but I'm calling myself out too. The question is, hypothetically speaking, if Trump invokes the Insurrection Act in Minnesota, what do you realistically think is going to happen? Like, let's just be real about this. What do you realistically think happens if he actually does that? Another left-wing city will become the haven for this bullshit. Another blue state will become the haven, and another governor will start to bring all of these clowns there. It's just like you basically are shutting it down in one area so that you can start it in another area. And that will continue. And at some point you're like, resources are going to be insane. You're going to have craziness going in all of these different places. So all I'm saying is that there is a lot more to think about than just the one action.
And he has been fantastic throughout this entire thing. And they've dedicated full resources, full help to finding the person that robbed me here, because what these people need to realize is that they are not they're not going to be able to get away with literally everything, which is how they think right now.
It is crazy. It is absolutely crazy that we're just continuing to see this. And again, this is on Tim Walz and Jacob Fry. Tim Walz and Jacob Fry. Oh, no. I just saw this meme. on my timeline. George Floyd doesn't realize how lucky he was. Oh, no. George Floyd doesn't realize how lucky he was. Damn. Who is this? Who is this? He follows me. Let's see. That's a good meme. I guess I'll follow you back. Let's see. That's a good meme. So, oh, memes are the best. We love the memes. We love the memes. Holy shit. Are they holding Indiana to a fucking field goal? Miami's got a shot, boys. Miami has a shot. You can't run forever, Don Lemon. Did not expect to see Jesus driving the police car. I was not expecting that. Fantastic Snock says, makes me wonder if Don Lemon is going scorched earth because he got fired from CNN, and then Elon Musk made fun of him when Don was interviewing him. Oh yeah, I mean that he's basically he's irrelevant. So he's trying to do everything he can to stay relevant. All right, so 4th and 4. Indiana is going for a field goal to make it a 6-point game, meaning Miami. Okay, so Miami's got to score a touchdown. So we'll see. Let's see what happens. Business is picking up. What is this right here? This leftist just threatened to murder Border Commander Greg Bavino. Said he'll end up 4 feet shorter with his head on a pike in Philly. What?
So apparently Greg Bavino says that once ICE is done in Minneapolis, they're going to go to Philly next, which, holy shit, that is certainly a fucking choice, my dude. At least we know where you're going to end up, about 4 feet shorter with your head on a pike. So apparently Greg...
Holy crap. Wow. Yeah, there you have it. Not surprising. Vault 90 or Vault 199 Gaming says 3 days ago, Walz pretended to care about churches. Correct. And interestingly enough, we have heard nothing from Tim Walz. We have heard nothing from Jacob Fry. We've heard nothing from them. They haven't denounced this. They haven't, told people that they need to stop. Here we go right here. Over 24 hours after rioters stormed the church, Governor Walz finally made a half-assed statement calling for peaceful protest.
Minnesota's governor, that's Tim Walz, just responded to the federal probe into what went down at that St. Paul church. The spokesperson says, quote, the governor has repeatedly and unequivocally urged protesters to do so peacefully.
I see Gary rated us over on Rumble. That means either Eric K or X-Ray Girl actually rated. Hail to the Raiders over on Rumble and on the YouTube side for people that are joining as well.
While people have a right to speak out, he in no way supports interrupting a place of worship. Fox News legal editor Carrie Orban is with us now. Carrie, we flagged off the top of the show that, the governor had not weighed in yet, had not said anything publicly about what went down over the weekend. What do you make of his response?
Oh, well, he knows this is a big problem. Anyone looking at that video, and if you come from a legal background or perspective, you immediately think, oh, there are some federal crimes potentially taking place here.
Yeah, because it goes back to the whole point. And by the way, it was Eric K that did it. Thank you, Eric. It goes back to the whole point of look at what happened with Trump and the 2024 election. Look at the optics that happened. Through Butler, through all of the things that happened, all of the iconic images that we had. And it really made you realize, like, dude, this is an unstoppable force. Go back to the 2016 election when Hillary Clinton called everybody deplorables. That was a massive backfire. These things matter. This church situation is more damning than anything that Trump could have done to Walz himself or the DOJ. This is more damning than anything.
Here, they're interfering in people's right to worship or in their right to exercise their faith. There's a federal statute that prohibits conspiring with someone to interfere in their right to exercise their religion. There are a number of federal statutes that the Civil Rights Division at the Department of Justice could pursue, and it sounds like from the statements they're putting out on X and some of the interviews they're doing that they are in fact pursuing
Let's put those. Sorry, Carrie. While we're having this conversation, let's put those up on the board so that folks at home can see these are the laws at play that Carrie just mentioned.
Yeah, so it's the FACE Act, which to a large degree refers to abortion clinics, damage to religious property, obstructing worship, conspiracy against rights, conspiracy to defraud the United States. Missing out of this, I guess, is just simple trespassing, which would be a state crime.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. And on the FACE Act, yes, it's known to be a law that is enforced in the abortion context, but there is that big church piece of it. And if you remember the context for that, that was the compromise with Republicans back in the 90s when they passed this. There was this law, they wanted to pass law to protect.
Hang tight, Greg Kirby. Let me see if I can find yours. Hang on, Greg Kirby. Greg Kirby, for fives, a sour lemon should be in jail for terrorism. Protesting is not about making people uncomfortable. It's about making a change. And then Greg Kirby for another super chat says, did Sour Lemon not say he'd leave the USA if Trump won? Democratic Party uses a donkey for icon. Just saying. There you go, Greg Kirby. Hail to you, brother. Thank you so much. Hope you have a good night, man.
Protect people's access to abortion facilities. Republicans said, okay, we'll do that, but only if you present the same kind of protection of access for churches, which is why we have that. That was the Hatch Amendment. Look, there's that federal statute that I think is very clear, obstruction of persons in the free exercise of religious beliefs. That's U.S. Code. That's 247. You put that up there. And so...
yeah, and like right here, this imagery right here, look at this. Like, this is like, you got a kid crying. Yeah, who terrorizes immigrants now? So like they're going in there they're calling it white supremacist. Like it's crazy, man. They're white supremacist. You're going in here and you got literally X-Ray Girl in there trying to worship. What did X-Ray Girl do? Why are you mad at X-Ray Girl? But this is the left for you. BJ the Vigil says Don Lemon and those wackos aren't storming a church because they love migrants. They're doing it because they hate Christians. Yep. Jared the American, I did read your super chat first thing, unless you sent another one. But look at that. I can read the regular chat, the super chats, and I'm watching college football, and I'm reacting to what's going on the screen. Multitasking tax. Multitasking tax. Jesse Bear says, fun fact, today was previously known as Robert E. Lee Day until they purposely made it MLK Day to stick it to the South. A lady in Mexican says, someone needs to ask the DOJ why are corrupt politicians not being arrested? We the people deserve to know. So much for transparency. Interception, Indiana, game over. Game over. Interception, Indiana. Indiana is now your national champions, college football national champions. James All Day says, notice Walls and Fry said nothing about this. Of course, because there's no narrative to be built through it. Ministry of Wrong Things says, I heard even Mayor Fry went off on Don Lemon. Is that true? Not that I know of. I have seen anything from Mayor Fry saying anything about Don Lemon. Let's see here. What is this? Chat, is this real?
We're taking Greenland, whether you commie globalists like it or not, right? And we're renaming it Orange Land. Where's little Alex Soros at? Oh, there he is. You, my boy, have the balls the size of raisins. You and your daddy can kiss my ass.
Madney says, imagine some MAGA people burst into a Somali mosque and start yelling about fraud. I'm sure Don would say that's protected speech. You know that's what would happen, and that's the insanity behind all of this. Brad Boxon says, Don Lemon sure loves his Dixiecrats. I'll send you a better rant on Rumble for you, not Google. Which player is Marco filling in for? Marco probably not too happy right now. He's probably not a happy guy. He's probably not happy. The Shadow Mesher says, you think I missed your super chat? I'm going down the list right now. So, Colonel Flom says, if Don Lemon is a Christian, then I'm a fucking Buddhist monk. Minister Vontae says, Jeremy, didn't you react to a video of some people who stormed the church explicitly yelling out, he's on our side, Lemon is one of us? I can't remember specifically. I can't remember specifically if I reacted to that. I do remember a chant, but I don't remember if that was directed at Don Lemon. It's official. Indiana is your national champion. Congratulations to them. Blackguard for 20 says, never once do any of the people they claim are white supremacists ever say anything about that. Not once ever. It's ironically always them who seem to believe that whites are supreme. That applies to their Nazi claims. 1000%. That is a very, very accurate statement right there from Blackguard. Extremely, extremely accurate. So, I mean, it's always, this is always what they do. Look at that. Is this Jake Paul and Trump talking? Yeah, it's like Jake Paul and President Trump talking. I don't hate Jake Paul as much as I hate Logan. Logan Paul, I just can't stand Logan Paul. I'm not a fan of Jake Paul either, but I find him to be more tolerable than Logan. Is this Don Lemon responding to Nicki Minaj? I haven't seen this.
So people have been asking me about responding to Nicki Minaj's unhinged homophobic tweet about me. I usually don't respond to the stuff.
It's always homophobic. It's always this. It's always racist. It's always sexist. It's always misogynistic. It's always homophobic. It's always some victim bullshit no matter what.
Let me just say this. Nicki Minaj, stop talking about shit for which you know nothing about. This is out of your depth, by the way, and you are a homophobic bigot. You don't.
So you're saying she's stupid because she's a black woman? Are you saying she's stupid? She's a black woman?
Care about African Americans, and you're not an African American. From what I know, you are reportedly an undocumented citizen, so you should be deported under Donald Trump's rules. And the other,
This is a bad response, dude. Holy shit. This is not going to go over well. Nicki Minaj, I'm not a fan, but she's got a lot of fans, bro. This is bad. Bunny Mom says good night, Jeremy. Good night.
the thing is that your family members, you have one family member who is reportedly a sex offender, the other family member, your husband or whatever, a sex offender is your husband, and one of them is reportedly a pedophile. And you have nerve to talk about me and what you think that I do? Nicki Minaj, get a life. Stop being a pick-me. You should have put a pick-me doll on that damn tweet instead of a Chucky doll, because you are nothing but a pick-me. And I choose not to pick you. And so should black people, and so should gay people. Shouldn't buy your music. Clock that.
Oh, that was a bad response. That was bad. That is not going to go over well at all. Holy shit. He walked right into the trap. Right into the trap. Yikes. Eric K says, D-Day Cobra, Nikki called him a cocksucker, said it was facts because he sucks cock. Well, Adam Carolla quote tweeted that and said it was facts. But yes, that's what she said. Yes. But I mean, maybe she followed up and said that, but I saw Adam Carolla say it. Ministry of Wrong thinks is the feckless GOP are using fear of Dem backlash as an excuse not to end the filibuster. The truth is they're rhinos using that to scapegoat the fact that they're actively working against Trump. Traitors. They are traitors. 100%. All right, back up here. Sith Lord MAGA says, I'm not religious, but I think Don Lemon is just radicalized me. Well, he has a way of doing that. Toads says, Night Manager Season 2 just came out 8 years later, but first season was amazing. Hugh Laurie and Tom Hiddleston. Check it out. I actually saw that on Amazon the other day, and I was like, is this any good? So noted your recommendation. I appreciate that. The Shadow Master says, yo, Jeremy, I saw a video covering a few clips of ICE protesters you may not have seen already. Would you watch it if I sent a super chat? I mean, you can just DM me if it's something I can make content out of. I'm happy to do it. So you can just DM me over on Twitter. By the way, another thing too, like if you want to, I'll open up my Instagram if you want to DM me stuff over there for people that don't have Twitter. I'll do that too. I'll open up Instagram and you can DM me clips over there if you want. So if it'll help. Because I know everybody doesn't have Twitter. Packy Proton says, random unintentional Cobra Cast sports rant. Quote, if you're a fantasy football player, you're a nerd, not a jock. True or false? Yeah, I mean, fantasy football is very much a nerd. It's very nerdy. And I'm not like against fantasy football at all. I think fantasy football has kind of hurt the overall like being a fan. But like for me, like I don't do fantasy football. I did it once, but like I just enjoy watching football. Like fantasy football to me fundamentally changes how you watch football and how you approach watching football. And so yeah, it's absolutely more of a nerdy element to it, which is not a bad thing. BC Man says, not Don Lamont's chat wouldn't survive a Cobra Cast chat. This is true. Lying Dogface Pony Soldier, but to get the membership, 80 Clock says Trump elevates the status of the presidential position like all great presidents do. Lying Dogface says TDS suffers take out alone by a clue. You know, I was watching Depressed Ginger earlier, and he made a very he's making an interesting point. Let me pull this video up. He does good work on like geopolitics and stuff like that. But he was talking about this whole Greenland situation, and it's interesting. So we're going to shift gears here for a minute to the Greenland stuff. And there's a YouTuber, Depressed Ginger. I'm sure a lot of you watch him. But So he's got a good channel, geopolitics, stuff like that. And he covers other things too. But he's talking about this Greenland situation because last night Trump sent an amazing letter out that they leaked. And holy shit, the meltdown is crazy. The meltdown has been nuts over this, okay? So you got to hear what he has to say. And on top of that, what he says here in this video, he's basically saying that the reaction to Trump wanting Greenland is insane. And it's insane because they're all going crazy because it's Trump. It's so funny. Let's listen in. And mods, drop a link to his channel, Depressed Ginger, so that people that are not aware of it can check it out.
Or situation with Donald Trump speaking outside of the White House, reiterating his understanding and reasoning for the reason the United States needs to acquire Greenland. He wants to do it diplomatically. He wants to do it peacefully, although he did not rule out military involvement. The reason is because you rule out military involvement during a time like this where you're trying to get the other side to negotiate, you lose all leverage. So you're not going to want to do that. Now, I don't think there's going to be any military involvement, but again, in terms of a forced negotiation, you're not going to rule out military involvement. You want to keep that at your disposal, at least bluffing it to try and force a negotiation. But this is what Trump said. And then we've got a few other things to react to, and including just, you see it over the past few days, and I'm sure it's just my timeline. And it's kind of just the thing that everyone's talking about is Greenland. We kind of fixate on different topics, but the EU's response to this is pretty astounding. I mean, I'm surprised. I really am, because I think last year they kind of thought, well, Trump really doesn't want Greenland. It's not that big of a deal, whatever. Although Trump was pretty serious. He wanted to.
By the way, the letter itself, and now unless I've heard something different, people are saying it's fake. It's not, from what I understand, it's not fake at all. And people are freaking the fuck out over this letter. I haven't heard any reports that it was fake. Just for the record. So.
By it. It kind of died out. Nobody really discussed it. Then everyone thought going into this year, anyone that brought up Greenland, everyone was like, well, he's going to wait till after the midterms because it's not very popular. But even at a time like this where Trump is trying to buy it, I'm really shocked the amount of people that are this crazed and against Trump making this purchase. Not Americans, mainly Europeans, and just based off of the history, the idea of Greenland, what it is, the fact that it's not fully autonomous, the fact that there's only 57,000 people, the fact that it's just a glacier sheet. It's insane. Like this reaction. I mean, I would understand this reaction if Trump said, I demand to buy Ireland or France, then I would understand. But this, to me, even though you say, well, it's a country based on what Greenland is and the history of Greenland and the fact
and a lot of Europeans are responding to this, and they are fucking losing it in the comment sections on Twitter, on YouTube. They are losing it over this whole entire situation. They never given a fuck about Greenland until now. And now suddenly, because Trump wants it, suddenly now they're all like, oh my God, we've got to have it. We've got to have it. The letter, I think the press ginger gets into the letter. If not, I'll show you the letter. So let's see if he gets into it.
Graphical positioning of it. I think a lot of this is TDS. A lot of this is these Europeans just hate Trump.
Yes.
And they're digging their feet in. And to me, it's a lot of bluffing. But even me, I've covered the Greenland thing for a while now. You see this, and I think a lot of this reaction is just insane. I did not expect them to be this crazed about not wanting to. You see these people protesting. I mean, the people going outside, Greenlanders going outside protesting, potentially being given a significant upgrade, in terms of their living situation when it comes to the U.S. acquiring Greenland, the amount of money that they'd get. And they're protesting that. They're protesting being given money and keeping their autonomy, I'm sure. Well, it's not even like
they're like, we don't want a better life. We don't want to have better security for our country. No, Trump, leave us alone. We don't want to have an improved life. What? It's crazy. Look at this right here. President Trump sends scathing letter to Norway Prime Minister declaring America first will rule the West. Denmark cannot protect Greenland. Dear Jonas, considering this is so fucking good, dude. This is the most alpha male letter ever. Considering your country decided not to give me the Nobel Peace Prize for stopping 8 wars plus, I no longer feel an obligation to think purely of peace. Although it will always be predominant, but can now think it was good and proper for the United States. Denmark cannot protect the land from Russia or China. Why do they have a right that do they have a right of ownership anyway? There is no written documents. It's only a boat. It's only that a boat landed there hundreds of years ago, but we had boats landing there also. Like, dude, Lear to read, Jeremy. Yeah, I mean, what do you expect? All right. I was watching Kai Cenat videos the other day, and I can't read for shit after watching Kai Cenat. I've done more for NATO than any other president since its founding, and now NATO should do something about the United States. The world is not secure unless we have complete and total control of Greenland. Thank you, President Donald Trump. This dude said, you didn't give me the Nobel Peace Prize, so I don't have to think of peace anymore. Oh my God, he's so petty and it's so funny. All you had to do was give him the award. He is the most petty person ever. It's so great.
The fascists are going to come in and they're going to run the country and it's going to be authoritarian. That's not even what this is. They would probably keep all of their autonomy through a negotiation. We just want to be able to control the waterways and the access points, and Trump just wants it as a territory. So a lot of it's just nonsensical, but it's just irrational Trump hatred. That's what I would kind of equate to a lot of this to, because like I would understand even Iceland with 400,000 people, it's smaller, but I would understand because of its proximity closer to Europe, people being like, well, Trump shouldn't be able to do that. It's fully autonomous. The Greenland thing with the amount of people that are just obsessed and anti-Trump, it does surprise me in terms of like, how could he, like, do you know what Greenland is? You understand like 99% of Greenland is uninhabitable?
No, they don't care. They don't care. And as he says in this video, it's TDS. TDS is such a fucking problem. People, it used to be a meme. TDS used to be a meme. It used to be something we memed. They're like, oh, you hate Trump, you have TDS. TDS is as big of a fucking problem. You want to talk about a pandemic? The real pandemic is Trump derangement syndrome. It is a fucking problem. And it's not just in the United States of America. It's every fucking where.
You understand they have a population under 60,000. You understand they're not even fully autonomous. You understand, you know, in a military situation, there's a reason the United States can build military bases on Greenland right now. That's because Denmark cannot properly defend them. So why would we not just incorporate them as official part of the United States as in like a territorial role? But let's see what Trump says here.
Mr. President, pull out of NATO if it doesn't help you acquire Greenland. If it doesn't lead to
well, we're going to see. NATO has been dealing with us on Greenland. We need Greenland for national security very badly. If we don't have it, we have a big hole in national security, especially when it comes to what we're doing in terms of the Golden Dome and all of the other things. We have a lot of investments in military. We have got the strongest military in the world, and it's only getting stronger. And you saw that with Venezuela. You saw that with the attack on Iran, with the knocking out their nuclear capability potentially. So, yeah, we're talking to NATO.
My theory is if Trump gets Greenland, you know where he's going to focus in next? And I've talked about it already. My theory is, and I think they know it as well, that when he gets Greenland, he's going after Canada. I believe he's actually going to go after Canada. I 1000% believe that. But he's got to get Greenland first. to leverage it.
So that's Trump reiterating the security. And of course, they'll say, well, you already have access to Greenland. Well, why wouldn't we just incorporate it as part of...
And I don't think as a state. I think him putting that 51st state stuff out there, that's a negotiation. I think a territory is where it lands. Not as a state, but as a territory.
The United States officially. It's like this is a private message that the Norwegian government has released between their prime minister and Trump. Has to do with the NATO and a lot of these European countries now trying to de-escalate the situation in terms of the tariffs, because Trump threatened the tariffs going up possibly on June 1st if Greenland was not acquired by the United States. And there was an initial thought that, well, there'd be immediate retaliatory tariffs by the EU onto the US in response.
This is an amazing comment right here. Hang on. From Coopster. What'd you say? Coopster said, hang it. Where did it go? Coopster, your comment, I'm trying to find it so I can highlight it. You said, I have hundreds of family in Canada. We don't want them here. That's fantastic. He's like, I have family in Canada. We don't want them.
But now it looks like they want to negotiate. I don't know what that negotiation is. They say, well, it's a trade deal. I mean, is there really? I think they've already negotiated trade deals. I don't think that's really what this is. I think Trump just wants Greenland. You're not renegotiating a trade deal. We did enough trade deals. There's enough trade deals. But it's like, no, we're going to renegotiate a new trade deal to appease Trump. Trump just wants Greenland as U.S. territory. That's basically what this is. That's the reason these tariffs are in place. It's not to renegotiate a new trade deal. But then Trump says, considering your country decided not to give me the Nobel Peace Prize for having stopped 8 wars plus, I no longer feel an obligation to think purely of peace.
Dude, the fact that Trump sent this letter is the greatest thing ever. It's the reaction to this. Like, this is what people are saying. Folks, this is real. This is an actual letter that Trump sent to the PM of Norway. Trump is a narcissistic psychopath. But we already knew that. This letter shows that Trump is also insane. The reaction has been amazing to this.
Although that will always be predominant. But he wants to think about the good and the prosperity of the United States. Denmark cannot protect the land from Russia or China. Why do they have a right to ownership anyway? There are no written documents. It's only a boat. Well, the other thing that Trump has to understand, you know, Greenland, the country, it was really Norwegian. And so he is right and says because of the relationship that Denmark and Norway had. And then after the Napoleonic Wars, that's when it was officially transferred into the Kingdom of Denmark only. But it really, culturally, they're more Norwegian originally back hundreds of years ago. So, you know, the entire situation is strange. And this is just a purchase. I mean, to me, this is just kind of what's happened in the United States. Even you do a big picture look at it in terms of the power of the United States, it makes sense with where we're at now, the ascension of the U.S., the location of Greenland for it to be within U.S. control. This land claim is very old. It's a very old land claim, and it doesn't really hold up or make sense in the 21st century based on the overall geopolitical power of Denmark versus the United States, and also the proximity in terms of the geographical position of Greenland. So yeah, Trump really is right. I mean,
this is what Trump said about Greenland. Right here. Trump says Denmark's military force to defend Greenland consists of 2 dog sleds. You can barely hear it, but here's where Trump.
Greenland should make the deal because Greenland does not want to see Russia or China take over. They don't go there. It's very far away from Greenland. And Greenland, basically, their defense is 2 dog sleds. Do you know that? You know what their defense is? 2 dog sleds.
Look at Caroline back there laughing.
I don't know about the Nobel Peace Prize. I mean, you see him taking the photo with Machado, the lady that actually won it, and he's obsessed with this Nobel Peace Prize. He wants it, and like she ceremonially gave it to him, but technically he still didn't win it. He wants a Nobel Peace Prize, and he mentions that in that. I'm not sure that's really necessary to mention that, but Trump says he will not rule out using force to take Greenland. When asked, he replied, no comment. Well, you don't want to lose leverage if you say you're not going to do anything militarily. You know, you lose all of your leverage in terms of negotiating.
Dude, if I just saw a statement where Elon Musk says the Twitter algorithm is a disaster right now, and it is, but it's also scary. I'm going to switch over to the screen that I was just on, okay? Right now, I'm just going to switch my screen, and I'm going to show you what's on my screen. First of all, look at his screen, first of all. Look at his screen. You see the video with Putin? Now, look what I'm seeing on my screen. Listens to every fucking move you make, man. Holy shit. Like, I wasn't even looking for this shit. That's crazy.
You want to force a negotiation. It is similar when you put these tariffs on countries in terms of trade deals. You force action. You force a better trade deal. You force a situation where a country has to negotiate, and it moves it along quicker. This is the exact same thing. You know, I remember talking about Greenland last year and saying, well, Trump's going to have to be the aggressor here. These countries are just not going to give it up. And so that's what this is. You threaten the tariffs. You say, well, we might take it by force. We need it. This is kind of the next step in terms of trying to acquire it, because these countries just simply don't want to do it. And you have to wonder at a certain point, I mean, there has to be a proposal, right? There has to be an actual offer. They said, well, it's $700 billion, maybe a few $1 billion for the citizens of Greenland. I know some of the citizens of...
I feel like this whole thing, though, I think Trump is playing checkers with them right now. I mean, he's playing chess and they're playing checkers. That's what I think is happening. I think Trump is like... their reaction to his desire to get Greenland has exposed just how much of a national security threat it can be and probably is for the United States. They have never treated this like a serious issue until Trump said, I want Greenland and I'm serious about it now. And they are freaking the fuck out. Why suddenly are you freaking out?
Come out and say, we don't want money. I mean, that's how, you don't say brainwashed, but that's kind of how these people are. That's how much they hate Trump. That's how much they hate, they're brainwashed by the EU. And they say, well, we still want to be part of the Kingdom of Denmark. Well, wait a minute. You guys have had rallies. You've had all these elections where you say, no, we want to be fully autonomous. And that's the other thing, to where you just look at this entire situation, all of this outrage, over 57,000 people. It's a glacier sheet, and it's within the North American tectonic plate. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't really add up, other than they've got, whether you want to say the TDS. I mean, listen, I can understand the exchanging land territory. It's unorthodox. It's not something that normally happens in the 21st century, but the Greenland situation is just very intriguing in terms of it's just ripe for U.S. ownership because of its location, because of its population. This is not... 99% of it, you can't inhabit it based on the climate, based on glaciers, based on the topography. So I don't really, this outrage is just insane. I mean, yeah, if Trump tried to buy Norway or the Scandinavian countries or Ireland or even Iceland, I mean, you could understand there being some there's infrastructure in those countries, they're built up, but this country is not even fully autonomous, Greenland.
He's positioning to be able to tariff China at every shipping passage. And I didn't look into the details, but I know that there was what did Mark Carney and Canada they just did something. They just struck some type of deal with China and Canada, and Trump cannot be happy about that shit. I'm surprised Trump hasn't focused in on that. China working with Canada directly. Trump cannot be happy about that shit.
So this outrage, to me, it kind of reeks of just they hate Trump, and anything Trump does is disgustingly fascist and imperialistic.
On EVs.
Greenland, based on its 21st century, the understanding of 21st century geopolitics, it would be better and more used properly in U.S. hands for protection. And that's Western protection, not just protection for the United States. It's also the West and NATO as well. You've also got, this was that letter I was talking about. And so then you've got this. And so this is something that detractors, many Europeans are saying in response to a lot of Americans, me included. We've talked about the fact that the United States has such a massive military budget and how that really props up NATO as a military deterrent, because that's what NATO is. It's important to understand what NATO is. They try and make this argument. They're not understanding what NATO is. It's a defense pact.
NATO's nothing without the United States. Simple as that. NATO is it's no point in existence without the United States of America.
So its number one goal is deterrence. If you join NATO, the idea is if your country gets invaded, it's going to be very bad for that other country, because there's all of these countries within it that must go to war. And so you look at something like this and it says the expenditures, and this is probably a European writing this note, but it doesn't even matter. It's not a proper note because you don't understand what a defense treaty is. It says this chart is from 2017, shows national defense budgets. Well, that's really not the emphasis of this. What the emphasis is this bar right here, and that's the total amount, the raw number in terms of overall defense budget. The United States just south of 700 billion. The next closest at this point was the UK. Obviously now the United States is at $1 trillion. But what they say, and this is their argument, they say it's not direct payments to NATO themselves. The US contributes 16% of NATO common budgets. So they say, well, if the US only contributes 16%, that means the United States is no bigger than some of these other, I guess, big countries that also contribute. That's not the purpose of a defense budget. It's deterrence. So the fact that the United States and their $1 trillion now military budget is part of a defense budget, that's a big problem if Russia wants to mess with a NATO country. That's the entire point of NATO. It's not direct payments to NATO, the defense conglomerate itself. It's how powerful is your country.
And this is why they hate Trump. I'm going to play a clip I have played many times on Cobra Cast. This is why they hate Trump. This is in 2017. Donald Trump, the Chad in chief.
I have been very, very direct with Secretary Stoltenberg and members of the alliance in saying that NATO members must finally contribute their fair share and meet their financial obligations. But 23 of the 28 member nations are still not paying what they should be paying and what they are supposed to be paying for their defense. This is not fair to the people and taxpayers of the United States. And many of these nations owe massive amounts of money from past years and not paying in those past years. Over the last 8 years, the United States spent more on defense than all other NATO countries combined. If all NATO members had spent just 2% of their GDP on defense last year, we would have had another $119 billion for our collective defense and for the financing of additional NATO reserves.
That image is always so perfect. And I don't know if you remember this one right here. I don't know if my computer's freezing up or what here. Is my computer just freezing up? All right, here we go right here. So this moment right here, a goated moment as well from President Trump. If I can get my fucking screen to work. Nothing's working right now. So I don't know what's going on. I don't even know if you guys can hear me at the moment. Am I still here? None of my shit's working. The tab is not working. Give me a minute here. I've never had YouTube fuck up like that before. Muted. I can hear you. All right, let's see here. Let me see if I can find this on another tab because YouTube is broken apparently. Okay. Here we go, right here. This is a goated moment right here with Trump, with the NATO leaders. He just pushes his way through, dude. Like, get the fuck out of my way. Okay? He just reaches in, grabs this dude. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. He's like, what the hell's happening? Let's slow that down. Let's playback speed. Let's go to 0.25. We'll mute it. All right, so here comes Trump. This guy right here, he's like, hold on. Whoa! Trump walks in, get the F out of my way. And then stands there, takes the coat, and he's like, all right, I'm here. Oh, fantastic. You love to see it. All right, let's continue on. And again, Depressed Ginger is the channel. If you guys are not aware, he's very good.
Russia, if you want to invade a NATO country, you have to understand you will get the might of the United States, not just in terms of the defense budget, but the technology, the infrastructure, the mobilization, everything that comes with it. You're not understanding what a defense budget is. You're talking about direct payments to NATO. No, the point is NATO itself is based on deterrence. The best deterrent in the world is the United States military because of the strength of it.
Yes.
So this is just not understanding what the defense budget, what a defense budget is. Direct payments to NATO is irrelevant. I mean, you could have Luxembourg make more direct payments to NATO, the conglomerate, the military, than the United States. But the fact that the United States is in it to where they're going to have to actually mobilize and help defend a country that gets invaded, that's the whole point. You know, you want to invade a NATO country, you're going to be facing the United States, and the United States. I mean, look what happened with Ukraine. Ukraine's not even a NATO member, and the amount that the United States, now it's disputed, but some people say, obviously, what is it, 200 billion? I mean, it's a lot of money the United States sent to Ukraine, and a lot of that is because the GDP is just so much more massive than all these other European countries. But when they say that, and they say, well, actual direct payments to NATO, it's only 60, it's irrelevant. That's not even the point of what NATO is. It's overall raw military power because it's deterrent.
Chad Layton for 20 says there is currently a geomagnetic storm from a coronal mass injection from the sun hitting the magnetic shield of the planet. It affects electronics, radio signals, and things like streaming freezing up and such. Is that true? I just thought I was retarded. I was just like, maybe I'm just retarded. This sounds like a much smarter response to what's going on. But I was like, or I'm just retarded. So both can be true. Correct, David. Both can be true. Thank you, Chad Layton. Hail to you, brother. Both can be true, and both probably are true.
You're not going to want to invade a country that is tied to NATO because NATO is the United States. You want to go to war with the United States and a $1 trillion military conglomerate. So you see how it's a lack of understanding from a lot of these European people to try and cope and say, well, the U.S. isn't this superpower and they're really not important in NATO. No, the U.S. is very important because it's a deterrence. When you have an ally that has a $1 trillion military budget, that's a major deterrence for a country like Russia. So you have to understand things like that. But either way, guys, when it comes to this is all just bluster. It's all bluff from a lot of these Europeans. I mean, Trump, look, you want to do this in a way that's diplomatic and whatever. But to me,
it's always
the
like
U.S. is
they are posturing. It's kind of like that whole thing when it was Iran back during the 12-day war. They have to present this kind of like false image of toughness to the people that are willing to believe the bullshit. It's all posturing. It's also they can make themselves look good. But the reality of it is they know who daddy is, and Trump is daddy, and they know that. And I guarantee you that they are probably calling him and going, hey, Mr. President, just so you know, we're 100% supportive of you, but I'm going to need to do this to get my constituents to back me up. I guarantee you that's what's happening.
As strong as it is, they've got to be looking at, there's got to be possible things you can do to be able to acquire Greenland. I mean, let's be honest. And we can do it diplomatically. There might have to be some type of forced negotiation. I don't know how that looks. I mean, I would like to do it diplomatically. I mean, if it was 1906, you could just say we're landing on the island and taking it.
Well, that's the thing, is Trump's trying to do this diplomatically. It's not like he's not going to take anything off the table. But I think if you look at the poll numbers for, Trump, even from MAGA, I think it's not great in terms of him using military action to take Greenland by force. It's not a very popular take, and he knows that. He can't just do that. It would not go over well, I don't think.
And it's probably not a big deal. But now there's all this stuff with social media, and there's all the blowback, and you just can't do that. I mean, ideally, we could just take it and not pay anything, but you know how it is. I mean, Trump wants to do it diplomatically. You worry about, like, oh, is he going to be impeached? I mean, listen, if it gets done in a way that's peaceful, Greenland's a major asset for the U.S., and look, Trump just wants expanded U.S. territory. So
I don't know if it's that simple, though. I'm not sure I agree with him on that. Now, he knows more about this shit than I do. That's why I watch him. I learn a lot from this guy. But I don't know if it's just Trump wanting the land. I think that it's a chess move from Trump. I think it's more than just for national security. I absolutely believe that it's a piece to the puzzle about defense, but I believe that it's about more than just that.
We'll have to see what ends up happening. I mean, I listen, if you were to criticize this, it would be more so, I think, just the idea that, it might be just a waste of money. It just depends how they're able to operate on Greenland now relative to where if they have actual ownership of it. Really, that's the only difference. And that's the funny thing. Like, there's all this crazy outrage. So they talk about how the United States has all of this opportunity to operate within Greenland, but then they're also like going crazy like it's the number one biggest crisis in the history because the U.S. might buy it. Well, then why do we have full access to it? If you think the U.S. is this big, bad, horrible country who's going to destroy Greenland, why do we already have full access to Greenland in the first place?
Exactly.
So see how inconsistent it is. We already have access to it. We just want, so we're going to own the actual country. We have access to it. We want to own it. And we're the biggest military in the world. And they use a scope. 16% of the payments. It's not the point of what NATO is. It's a deterrent. If you have the U.S. involved in a defense agreement, it's going to deter a lot of countries from possibly invading because they don't want to go to war with the United States. And that's when the $1 trillion defense budget comes into play. So see, it's a lack of understanding. But in terms of, it's like, this is ridiculous. These people, it's like the worst thing ever. The U.S. buying Greenland. We already can operate on Greenland. Why don't you kick us off? Why do you allow us to have military? If we're the most fascist, disgusting regime and we're greedy, why do we have military bases on Greenland? Why do we?
Because they can't, and they know it. And it just shows that their words and their posturing is all hollow bullshit projection. Massive, massive projection. Holy crap. Nubbin for a proper 199 swig of water for the working man. Also, IU is the best. Hey, congratulations on the national championship. Swig of water for the working man. And by the way, look, man, I got the NASCAR game behind me. NASCAR 98. NASCAR 98. I know that's going to make some of the NASCAR fans happy. We got NASCAR 98. We got G.I. Joe Operation Blackout, which is a fucking terrible game, but it's G.I. Joe. We've got the Breaking Bad poster, okay? It's not a fucking green screen. Augie, it's not a green screen. This is the real deal. We're here tonight. It is an awful game. G.I. Joe Operation Blackout is so bad. It's a really bad game. Do you guys remember that whole story about Operation Blackout? So I made a video on G.I. Joe Operation Blackout. And the developer, I ripped it apart. the developers were so like they were so nice. They reached out and they were like, "Hey, we appreciate you, you know, and your honest take on that." So they reached out to me. And yeah, I was like, "Man, stop lying. It's a green screen." What do I got to do? Do I got to go prove that it's not a green screen? Do I have to go prove that this is real, that I'm really here? Do I have to prove this? Well, right now, you know what? We're going to celebrate. We're going to celebrate the only way we know how to celebrate, with Sydney Sweeney. Okay? Sydney Sweeney in the house. Everybody loves when Sydney Sweeney shows up. Or says, hell yeah, we're national champs. Congratulations, Indiana. I can't believe Indiana football won a fucking national championship. It's absolutely crazy. Holy crap, nubbin for another. Another? Is that for me to have to go and prove that it's not a green screen? Now I'm in a tough situation here. Do I have to go prove this is not a green screen? It's not a fucking green screen. It's not a green screen. Look. I can sit down. Okay? I'm over here. Okay? I'm touching it. Almost. I'm not. What did I knock down? Hold on. Look at this. Hold on. Look at that. Look at that. Tell me that's not badass. Okay, hang on. That's the AI is pretty decent. It's not bragging rights. However, is Tara Crystal or Wiley Dave watching? Because since I got back here to Pensacola, D-Day Cobra really is black from the waist down. If Tara Crystal or Wiley Dave is watching, I went to my P.O. box. Dan Vask has no chance on bragging rights Tuesday. Dan Vask has zero chance. You know what? Proper 199, I will show you the coolest fucking thing. Another Proper 199, I'll show you the coolest fucking thing that maybe anybody's ever sent me to my P.O. box. It will take me about 5 minutes to go get it. But it's the coolest thing. If not, it's going to have to wait till Tuesday. But it is Wiley Dave. What's up, Wiley Dave? You mad lad. Wiley Dave. Wiley Dave. There's something you sent that is the coolest fucking thing that anybody probably has ever sent me to my P.O. box. And that's no disrespect to anybody else, okay? No disrespect to anybody else. But it will be seen on Tuesday. It will be seen on Tuesday. Tuesday night's main event. So, but Dan Vask has no chance. Dan Vask has zero chance. Go get it. Chat will take over. You know what? There's already been 2 Proper 199s. I'm just going to go get it. And if you send another Proper 199, you send it. But if you don't, you don't. So I will be right back. Okay? I will be right back. I'll go get it. Give me a minute. Okay? I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So I got to show you this, okay? This is the coolest thing ever. I'm going to stand up. This counts for bragging rights, okay? You guys ready? Holy shit. Wiley Dave sent me the official replica of the Stone Cold Steve Austin Flaming Skull Heavyweight Championship belt. This is real as fuck. It's heavy as hell. Here, hang on, let me move that. Look at that. This is like a, I don't know, this is like a $700 belt, I think. So there it is. There we go. All right. There we have it. Boom. That's a green screen belt too. Yeah, that's badass though. That's badass. So I don't know how much they cost, but it's expensive. But yeah, that is fucking cool. So by the way, Dan Vasquez already lost. All right, Dan Vasquez already lost. It's over. He has no chance. He has zero chance at this. Oh shit, John. Oh, I didn't even see that. John freaking Murdoch for a proper 199. Holy crap. Nubbin with a 25. And then Nubbin said, it is not a green screen. Holy crap. You guys are insane, man. I did not even see that. But anyway, this is only one of many things that I have to show off on Tuesday night's main event. I cannot freaking wait. So definitely a green screen. Hang on. Set it back here. Can we set it back here? Right. Okay. I'm way out of my element right now. Freaking cool as hell, man. Amazing. Looking forward to tomorrow's show. What's up, Tara Crystal? Yes, and other like Tara Crystal, Wiley Dave. You guys are the best, man. I am blown away by all of you. Incredible stuff. Let's finish this video up. Hopefully mods did drop a link. Looks cool back there. It does look pretty badass back there, doesn't it? Let's finish this video up. And appreciate you guys.
With military bases in Europe, how about all these Europeans saying that the U.S. should be forced to evacuate their military bases? Their governments don't want that at all. They love that there's...
Kino Casino was just watching my stream. God, probably roasting the hell out of me.
U.S. military bases on European countries, because it creates a situation to where if there is war and something happens to one of those bases, the U.S. is going to be at war with the allies against whoever did that. And they love that. They love the United States on their side going to war against her. So it's an...
Kino talking about you right now. Probably getting roasted.
asset for them to have U.S. bases.
It was good they like you. Well, that's good. I like those guys. But they're never like nice to people that they're reacting to. They're always reacting to people to fucking roast them, which I appreciate. But hail to Kino Casino.
Within Europe, within those European countries. And they say, let's remove the bases. Really? That would be much worse for your country than it would be for the United States. It's just all so nonsensical over this glacier sheet that has less than 60,000 people. You call these Euros bluff. These people are not serious. They're not going to destroy their... And again, I look at this stuff and I'm just like, I'm shocked at this crazy reaction. The U.S. already has
I am not shocked at the crazy reaction. This is TDS playing out exactly how it always plays out. Donald Trump, no matter what he does, creates a firestorm of reaction positively and negatively on anything he touches, any decision he makes. It's going to create a fucking firestorm. And so this reaction's not, not surprising at all, actually. And again, I know he pays attention to this stuff too, but it's not that surprising.
I mean, they use the argument, you can just turn it on its head. They say, well, why does the U.S. need to buy it? You already have full control of it, basically. You can do whatever you want. Well, if you were these fascist regime, why are you allowing us to have control of it in the first place? Why wouldn't we just own the territory if we have control of it anyways? It's a weird relationship.
No, I mean, that's one of the best points he's made. We're going to end it there. And again, make sure you subscribe to his channel. But he does good work on geopolitics. And I think he covers sports and other shit like that too. Let's see. Okay, you guys are insane with these freaking proper 199s. Blackguard says, let's just say Trump manages to secure the acquisition of Greenland as a U.S. territory. The Dems and their TDS is so strong that if they win the next presidential election, they would 100% give Greenland back for free. I could 100% see the Democrats do that. I could 100% seeing them going, hey, we're going to do this because, white people are racist and men are sexist, and we're going to do this in the name of George Floyd. Here, you can have Greenland back because it was taken by a Nazi and a white supremacist. I could 100% see that happening. 1992 Space Movie says, I believe 1992 Space Movie is a great movie, by the way. If you Google it, I wouldn't have Siri repeat it to you if you Google it, what the title of it is. Just be careful, all right? Just be careful. It's a movie about Don Lemon, all right? It's a movie about Don Lemon. That's all you need to know. Let's see. It says 1992 Space Movie says, I believe one of the reasons he wants Greenland as a legacy. Historians will do everything in their power to smear his presidency from historical institution standpoint, but would have to acknowledge the acquisition. This is very true. Acquisition is important for legacy purposes, no doubt about that. I think that legacy is incredibly important to Trump. I also think legacy ties into accomplishment and making America great again. It's all one thing. So like if you're a football coach and you primarily care about your legacy, well, that means that you're going to want to, win football games and win championships because that's going to help your legacy. So Trump being focused on his legacy, that's a no-brainer. Trump's ego is out of control. Everybody knows that. So his legacy ties directly into America becoming better and better. So it's all one and the same, but I agree with you. So Nubbin started this whole nonsense with a proper 199, and then he followed with another proper 199, and then John freaking Murdoch followed with another proper 199. Nubbin then said it's not a green screen. Nubbin for 25 and says nothing. Very nice. Very nice indeed. Appreciate you guys. All right, let's get back to the top here. Disinfected Scientist says, I wish Trump were 10% of the tyrant the left thinks he is. I've said this 1,000 times. I wish he was the racist that they say he is. I wish he was the sexist. I wish that Trump was that 12-year-old kid on Xbox Live that said every racist term ever to me. I wish that was Trump. I wish. Let's see here. Colonel Flom becomes a new member. Thank you. Chris, did I say his name right? Anyway, it's me. What the fuck do you expect? Chris Whiting for 50 says, does the Sydney Sweeney holiday discount still apply? I don't know. I would love red dress Sydney. If not, I understand. You know what? We've gotten enough proper 199s tonight. So we will just put this one on repeat. Jeremy learned to read, says Jess. I'm from Alabama, and my parents might be brother and sister. The fact that I can even turn on a fucking computer is already a massive win. I'm already way ahead of the game at that point. So we're good to go. We're good to go. Marmellin for 10 says, China says should become a territory as well. And we honestly do need Greenland since we took Panama to stop China, Russia. Their last option is the northern routes. So it is a 2-for-1 deal. Let me see here. ACC says, didn't you hear, Jeremy? Greenland added one more dog sleigh for added defense. A big sled, a beautiful sled, a sled you won't believe it. It's the most beautiful sled, or it's the most sled of all time, like you've never seen. I can't tell you. I can't tell you how many times Trump has said like nothing we've ever seen before. Let's see. Pyro for 5 gifted memberships. Thank you, brother. Appreciate that. Blackguard for 10 says, Don Lemon responding to Nicki Minaj had so much to say about her and her family, but he didn't say she was wrong at any point in what she said. And he won't. He won't. And that's the truth. By the way, we did get 3 proper 199s. I'm making an executive order. I'm making the executive order that we need to see Anna Paulina Luna. And I think everybody's going to be happy with that decision. I think everybody's going to be happy. I know I'm happy. I know I'm happy. Yeah, that's good. That's good. BMCCB says, hey, Jeremy, they canceled drill weekend in Minneapolis. They don't want true patriots in Twin Cities. Yeah, you said that the other day. I haven't seen anybody else follow up on that, but that's crazy if that's what they've done. That doesn't surprise me, by the way. Let's see. Million G says, black people need to get off the Democrat plantation. I get so much hate for being MAGA, but Trump is the GOAT. He is the GOAT. Greg Kirby says, Democrats leer me to hate a Minnesota Lear Center. I literally read that as it said, don't blame me. Greg Kirby is memeing on Somalis. Meek Keita says, put a limited visibility for calling Tim tarded. Fantastic Knox says, be funny if that bearded guy has stolen valor. Dark Red Knight says, it's weird how all the lefties are suddenly vets. Little Jim Taylor says, there's a video of him harassing National Guard in D.C. Bill Herb says, remember when Trump was supposed to be dying and all the left was celebrating, including Tim Walz, if I'm not mistaken? Tim Walz was absolutely celebrating. 1,000% he was. Jimmy Ray says, Trump should sign Minnesota over to Navajo Nation. We've got Nubbin 25 and says agrees. I think that has to do with Anna Paulina Luna, I think. What's up, Linko Kenobi? I see you in the chat. Heir to the Empire says, good stream, Jeremy. Thank you. I appreciate it. Jeremy Cyborg says, you need to wear the belt with the jacket on Tuesday. Not a bad idea, Jeremy the Cyborg. John Wayne says, Don Lemon's prison butt. Not even your worst nightmares could imagine. Dr. Professor Kevin says, Don Lemonless should represent Don Lemon in court. Bill Herb says, is Don a man telling a black woman how to think and act? Yikes. Identity politics. Again, do you guys remember why Don Lemon got fired from CNN? It was specifically about, what was it? It was something to do with a woman. It was some type of like anti-woman comment he made. I'm trying to remember specifically. So he was on air with 2 other women hosts, and he said something. What was it? Age is what it was. Nikki Haley, right? Nikki Haley's age. And he said she's past her prime. That's right. And he got fired for it. Yep, that's right. Jim P says that sick lemon will enjoy the guys in jail. Bill Herb says, honestly, if it wasn't Trump being one of the one buying it, no one would care. Let's be real. Does the average European care? They don't if it's not Trump. Eric K says Denmark was, let's see, sterilizing the in-suits up to the 1990s. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Quit Googling shit and then sending super chats, Eric. That's all the fuck you're doing. Matt Frog says, the Peace Prize is at his art school. Should have given it to him. Jim P says, Alberta could become the 51st state. Jared Armstrong says, this Greenland thing has exposed both the EU and Canada and are existential threats to the U.S., especially Canada. John Wayne says, Europeans should stop crying about the USA acquiring Greenland and rise up against authoritarian oppression from their own commie Islamist overlords. Ministry of Wrong Things says, Greenland is all about Canada, and we would completely surround it. TJ says, becomes a new member of the Shadow Master. Says, I tried DMing you the video on Twitter, but it said I wasn't able to. I sent it to Instagram. It has commentary, but you can skip those parts if needed. Noted. Yeah, so I turned my DMs to DMs only for verified accounts because the porn bots were crazy. Like, it was absolutely crazy how many porn bots I was getting messages from. And I don't know if that has anything to do with search history, but I've never, ever searched an adult video. Ever. Never. I don't know how this happens. Never. Taker says, Trump is going to turn Minnesota into Iceland. Dark Red Knight says, you seen the photos I sent you? No, bump it again. Hit the DM and bump it again, and I'll look at those. Mr. No One says that Jeremy would have gotten the real Stone Cold belt. JB Spooky Review says that Kino Casino was just watching your stream. Pre-Dawn Corp says, D-Day, Kino talking about you right now. Why are they covering me? I'm gonna have to check it out. I do like Kino Casino. They're awesome though. Jared Armstrong says, Kurt Signetti has probably the hardest one-liner in college football introductory press conference. I win, Google me. He's very good. I'm very jealous. I want him as Alabama's coach. So Coopster says, give a call out to Jessica Lindstrom's stream, Baking Bad, free and fun. She does a great job. She was mad at me because I streamed over her yesterday. It's like no matter what I do, everybody's mad at me. Everybody's mad at me. Let's see. The quarterings fall off. Jeremy is why. Well, but why me? Why was I part of it though? I do like the quartering though. Quartering, he goes on his drunk rats on Twitter. It's funny as shit though. Pre-Dawn Cross says, Jeremy, wear your women's championship belt. Let me see. It's your fault. It usually is. Fantastic Knox says, so activists in Minnesota are looking for an economic blackout on the 23rd unless ICE leaves. I quote, no work, no school, no shopping. Bring it on, losers. Bring it on. Mont Eric says, who the heck is giving Sir Slap a lot Will Smith TV show? It was a good idea. Now I gotta stupid Rumble does not keep up with these rants very well. It pisses me off. I know Johnny the Whiz Kid sent one earlier. If it didn't disappear. Johnny the Whiz Kid says the left wants Trump to invoke the Insurrection Act. Why not give them what they want? Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Screw the political calculus. The world knows what's going on. Like I said it on my previous stream. The people that want him to invoke it more than anybody is the left and the mainstream media. They absolutely want that. Bronsonite says, hear me out. This is a win-win for everyone. Don Lemon would have a blast in prison. I mean, in his face, but he would love it there. Johnny Whiskey says, I don't care if our tax money goes to mental patients. Putting Lemon in an asylum, at least it gets him off the streets. Shock therapy will satisfy me greatly on these psychopaths. Stephen Strange says, did you see Trump watches Clinton and Obama talk about immigration meme? I didn't see that one. And by the way, if you guys do want to follow me on Instagram, and I'm going to create another one over there too, but D-Day Cobra on Instagram. So you can send me clips over there and I'll check them out as well. But we're at the 2.5 hour mark. A good stream in the books. Got to show off the championship belt. Covered a lot of stuff. D-Day Cobra 2 is popping off over there. My videos on Geeks and Gamers are doing very well. I've been very happy about that. I have to go record videos for Geeks and Gamers right now. If you are not subscribed to Geeks and Gamers, you should be. This is where a lot of my videos will be at right there. My most recent video, doing pretty good. If I can do 20,000 views on videos, I'm happy, and they're getting far more than that. So, but yes, there's a D-Day Cobra 2 channel. that uploads the highlights of my stream, of my Cobra Cast stream. So keep that in mind. And yes, it's going to be fun. So I hope you guys go check that out. Other than that, I do appreciate it. It's been a good stream. Hail to the Keno Casino peeps. I don't know if they're still watching, but hail, Casino always wins. Very good stream. Good night, Jeremy. Thank you, Keenan. Wow, the videos are popping. Hell yeah, they are doing pretty good. So I got to keep at it. I don't even know what the fuck I'm going to make a video on, but I'll find something. But I'll be back Tuesday night's main event tomorrow, and then maybe a Cobra Cast after that. You never know. We'll see what happens. But either way, have a good evening, and we will talk to all of you later. Bye, everyone.